Howdy, I'm Bob Terry. Welcome to the Forsaken Westerns. Up next, we have probably the most powerful story ever written demonstrating the differences between a republic and a democracy. They may seem similar, but there are some very important differences. It's been said that democracy is two wolves and a lamb deciding what's for lunch. We have a magnificent story here with an amazing cast. Cast members include Ray Teal, Raymond Burr, James Westerfield, Michael Ansara, Hope Emerson, Robert Wagner, and Cameron Mitchell, just to name a few. There is a big screen version of this. Many of you may have seen it, but make no mistake, this version that was specially made for television is just magnificent. The title of this show is The Oxbow Incident. Sit back, relax, kick your boots up, and join us, and we'll see you after the show.
Did you see it?
No. Mr. Olson found him, lying in a dry wash. Shot right through the head. He sent me to get the sheriff.
Where is he? Did you find him?
He ain't in town. I came right to you.
You done right. Listen, go back to town. Find Bartlett. Tell him to meet me at the saloon. Take care of this our own way.
Who's that down there?
Bartlett. I just got word from Farley that they killed Kincaid. Larry Kincaid.
Who did?
Russell. They shot him down in cold blood and run off with his cattle. We're meeting at the saloon. Hurry up.
What is it, Sparks?
Sorry to be waking you, Mr. Davies, but there's trouble brewing, and the sheriff ain't come back from Pike's Hole.
What sort of trouble?
Friend of Mr. Farley's been killed, and he's been sending word around to some of the others to meet him at the saloon.
I'd better get over there myself. Thanks, Sparks. But driving cattle so high up in the mountains, Major Taylor, I think it's rustlers.
You could have waited for a more reasonable hour to tell me all this.
But it's not only rustlers, Major Taylor. A man was killed.
Killed?
See? Senor Larry Kincaid.
Gerald.
Yes, Father?
Get my uniform.
Your uniform?
Yes, my uniform. It's in that trunk in the attic. You'd better get dressed. You're coming with me.
Yes, Father. But I'd rather not.
Gerald, a man has been killed. I expect you to be as concerned with the capture of his killers as I am.
Paiute's graveyard.
Still pretty early. Maybe things will liven up toward evening.
I'd better. After a whole winter on the range, what this kid craves is some fun. Excitement.
We don't need any sheriff to tell us how to take care of rustlers and killers.
We'll take care of it, Bartlett, but we'll do it proper, according to law.
We'll do what we have to do.
And we ain't wasting time talking about it.
Man, you can't just take the law into your own hands.
And we're doing it.
I know how you feel, Jeff. It's just that we ought to know more about how it happened. There might be a bunch of them. It won't help Kincaid now to get killed yourself.
There's no rush.
Only way they could have gone is out the south draw, and it's a good 500 miles from there at the first border.
That's right. Better wait till we know what we're doing. The law says we should form a posse and bring these men in for trial.
You and the law.
The law is the only thing we have here in Nevada, Jeff. Without it, we'd be a pack of animals.
All right, get your posse. I'll be waiting outside. But I'm not asking anyone to join it. I'll take care of this job myself either way.
Well, boys, if nobody else will do it, me and Fonda will do it ourselves.
You fellas are acting like you're afraid of something. Where I come from, they just go out and get a man and string him up. Come on, Monty.
How about you guys? How shy are you?
Just worry about yourself, fat gut.
You know, boy, you're going to take me for no rustler lover, brother.
Mention.
Yeah, no stopping it now.
Yes, there is. A mob needs someone to lead it.
What about that Farnley waiting out there?
Farnley's just angry, that's all. That's not enough to lead a mob. Joyce, get Judge Tyler over here. If we can calm Farnley down, we'll calm them all down. Oh, wait. I better get the judge myself.
You think they'll listen to him?
They'll have to listen. He's the official word of the law.
That chance he's got of stopping him. Judge or no judge.
That's his headache. We're well out of it.
You loco? We're going.
Floor, it's none of our business.
We came into town looking for excitement, didn't we?
Now, look, why don't you just sit around and take it easy? No need for you boys to take part in a thing like this.
Nobody expects you to go, Darby.
Come along, Sparks.
No, sir, Mr. Smith. I don't guess so.
Better come along, Sparks. Gonna be some praying to do.
Maybe you's right, Mr. Smith. Maybe somebody ought to go that feels the way I do.
More here to lend you his Bible so we'll get the right reading there at the burial. We all know how good you read.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. But I knows my text without the book.
Yahoo! Here comes Ma! Hello, Ma!
Ah, we've been expecting you, Mom.
I would miss the injustice done for anything. What are we waiting for?
Davies asked us to wait while we went to get Judge Tyler.
Ah, what do we need a judge for? Nobody's going to get married at this time of day.
You tell him, Ma!
Right up here, Judge.
I understand how it is, men. My old friend Larry Kincaid, one of the finest and noblest...
Cut the stumping, Tyler. All we want's your blessing.
By the time you get ready to act judge, them rustlers will be over the Rio. One more word out of you, Smith, and I'd have you up for impeding the course of justice.
Ah, Judge, you can't impede what don't move anyway.
And you, Jenny Greer, a woman, to lend yourself to this.
I may be a woman, Judge, but I ain't scared to hang no rustlers.
Listen, men. There's something you ought to know. Sheriff Risley's already down at Kincaid's ranch. Isn't that right, Judge?
Been there all morning.
So you see, everything's being taken care of and legally. All you'll get out of it if you set out is a long, hard ride for nothing. So take my advice. Let's go on inside and have a drink. And wait and take it easy till we hear from the sheriff.
The drinks are on the house. Yeah, but I ain't filling no bucket bellies. Just one round.
I'll make it two. Come on, boys. It's not like you're giving up. It just makes good sense.
Farnley! You come on back here. I'm not asking you, Farnley. I'm ordering you. You don't need to worry, Jeff. This business is going to be taken care of.
Yeah. Now I know who's going to take care of it. Me. I tell you, whoever shot Larry Kincaid ain't coming in here for you to fuddle with your lawyer's tricks for 6 months and then be let off. Because Davies or some other whining old lady claims he ain't bad at heart. Kincaid didn't have 6 months to decide if he wanted to die.
Jeff, you know nobody in this country's going to let a thing like this go by. Sheriff Risley will get him, and there aren't 12 men in the West who wouldn't agree to hang him for what they've done. Can't you see that?
I can't see anything.
That's because you're full of anger. We feel the same way, Jeff. We intend to settle it according to law.
Disbanding men?
Mr. Davies has just about convinced us, Major Tetley, that we should...
Of what, Mr. Davies?
Letting Sheriff Risley handle this matter. He's over at Kincaid's ranch right now.
You must be acting on the assumption that the raiders left by the South Draw.
Yes, of course.
They didn't. They went east by Bridges Pass.
Through the mountains?
On the old stage road to Pike's Hole.
Well, that's 8,000 feet up.
They'd be crazy to go that way.
Not so crazy, perhaps, Mr. Davies, knowing how crazy it would look to us.
How come you're so sure?
Pancho saw them. He had trouble getting by them in the pass.
See? I take my horse into the hollow place to let them get by. At first, I think I say hello, but then I think it's very funny to drive the cattle there.
Cattle?
Oh, sure. Why do you think I get off of his road?
How many were there?
About 40 head.
I mean wrestlers.
Oh, 3.
Go on.
When I saw the marks those cattle have, I'd be very, very quiet.
What marks?
3 little, what you call them?
It's Kincaid's mark.
Why, the dirty rats. Killing a man and then openly driving his cattle off.
Let them get away with this. There's no telling what they'll try next time.
Exactly. That's why I asked the deputy sheriff here to come along and organize this thing properly.
Charlie Mapes is on your payroll. That makes him more your deputy than it does Risley's.
Judge Tyler, Mr. Mapes is the duly constituted deputy of this county and is empowered to act in the absence of the sheriff.
Major Tetley, you mustn't let this be a lynching.
This is scarcely what I choose, Mr. Davies.
Promise me you'll bring these men in for a fair trial.
I will abide by the will of the majority. Mr. Mapes, as acting sheriff, suppose you deputize the rest of us into a legal posse.
All right, Major.
No deputy has the right to deputize.
How about it, boys?
Well, it'll do for me. Me too.
Yeah, let's get started.
Go ahead and swear, Charlie.
Raise your right hands. I hereby solemnly swear that I'm duly sworn in as a deputy in the case of the murder of Larry Kincaid, and am willing to abide by the decision of the majority. So help me. Say I do.
I do. And hey, don't bring those men in alive, or as I'm justice of this county, you'll pay for
Major
it.
Tetley, at least wait until Sheriff Risley arrives. It won't take much time.
There never was any chance of stopping this thing.
Get on your horse. Get down to Kincaid to get the sheriff.
We'll stop here a moment, gentlemen, and breathe our horses.
Getting pretty cold.
Can't go hunting men like coyotes after rabbits.
Take it easy, kid.
It's wrong to hunt men.
All right, what are we supposed to do? Sit around and play a harp while some rustler murders a man and then cleans out the country?
It's not the reason we're on this hunt.
All right, what is the reason?
Fear.
Fear? Fear of what?
Fear of being called a coward. "28 of us. All pretending to be so noble. And all the time we're afraid somebody is going to call us coward.
Is that the reason you're here?
No, I am a coward. I'm here because I'm weak. And my father is not.
That Tetley. Sure getting a kick out of leading this expedition.
Yes, you might know Major Tetley would enjoy this sort of thing.
Strutting around in that old uniform. He really an ex-Confederate officer?
I don't know. Nobody ever found out for sure.
He always treat that kid of his the way he did back in town.
Major Tetley doesn't believe his son measures up to what he thinks a man ought to be.
What that kid told me. He said that we were all in on this thing because we're afraid of being called yellow.
Well, is he wrong? Somebody said hang a man and you were all afraid to disagree with him. You're not out here to weigh right and wrong. All you're going to do is what you've already decided to do.
I got nothing against hanging a murdering rustler. I just don't like doing it in the dark.
Where else could men behave like animals except in the dark?
Mortal cold, ain't it?
I got a blanket if you want it.
Thank you just the same, Mr. Carter. But it takes all my hands to keep on that old horse.
Oh, here, you want a shot?
I don't drink it, sir. I sure wish we was well out of this business.
It's a way of passing time.
It's a man taking upon himself the Lord's vengeance.
You think the Lord cares much about what's happening here tonight, Sparks?
He marks the sparrow's fall.
You don't approve of what this bunch is going to do tonight, is that right?
I saw my own brother lynched, Mr. Carter. I was just a little fella, and...
Had he done what they went after him for?
I don't know. None of us ever knew for sure.
You don't lynch a man for nothing.
Oh, they made him confess, all right. But it wouldn't have done him no good not to. Besides, confessing made it a lot shorter.
All right, men. Time to move on.
Major Tetley, wherever those men are heading, they've got to go through Pike's Hole. So why don't we send just a couple of our men on ahead to wait for them and bring them back into town?
Where we are? The Oxbow.
Got him.
Get up. Drop it. Get your hands up.
No, Savvy.
It's all right, brother. You will.
Take it easy, mister. Stay where you are and put your hands up.
What are you trying to do? What do you want?
We'll tell you when to talk. Now shut up! Oh, Mr. Mapes!
I want no brutality.
This is a posse, if that means anything to you.
A posse? Gerald, collect their guns. Are there any more of you?
I'd like to know what we done to get this.
Shut your mouth. Keep your hands up.
Mr. Mapes!
Just get them on their feet and tie their hands.
Come on, get on your feet. Get up here. Come on. Come on. Hands behind you.
Well, we must be pretty important.
It ain't that you're so important, son. It's just that most of us ain't never seen a triple hanging.
A hanging? A hanging? Well, what have we done? At least you could tell us what we done.
Rustling. Ever hear of it?
And murder.
Murder?
Mr. Martin, what do we do?
It's all right, Dad. It's some mistake.
All right. Come on, get over there.
All right.
Hey, remember me?
You! He's talking to you, mister.
No, Savvy.
Well, he don't talk no English.
I got a different notion. I think the vigilantes down in Tucson want him for killing a man.
I'll make him talk.
That will do, finally.
Listen, you. I'm tired of you playing high and mighty. You got him, I say. Let's string him up.
I advise you to control your tongue. We'll get along better. Who's the boss of this outfit?
I am.
Your name?
Donald Martin. I'm from Pike's Hole.
That's a lie.
This man's from Pike's Hole. Care to change your story?
Well, no. I just moved in. I'm up at Dave Baker's place at the North End.
Baker moved out 4 years ago. His place is a wreck.
No, I tell you, I just bought it from him for $4,000 in Sacramento last month.
Mister, you've been robbed.
Well, maybe so. But you can't hang a man for making a bad deal.
Some folks has got hung for a whole lot less than that, brother.
Well, surely it ain't so far to Pike's Hole you can't go there and find out. My wife's there right now with my 2 kids.
Oh, ain't that too bad?
Have you any cattle up here with you? I'm not going to ask you again.
Yeah, I have.
How many?
Oh, 50 head.
Where'd you get them?
From Mr. Kincaid.
That's what we figured, son.
Yeah, but I ain't no rustler, though. I bought and I paid cash for them. Well, you can wait, can't you? Till you ask Mr. Kincaid?
That's a good one. He wants us to wait until he can ask Larry Kincaid.
You know as well as we do, Kincaid's dead.
Dead?
As a doornail.
What do you think we're up here for?
Well, how should I know? He was all right yesterday afternoon. Listen, you. Why don't you stop this farce? We got a right to a trial. If you think we had something to do with this, why don't you take us in?
Listen, man, he was right when he called this a farce. And if you go through with it, it'll be murder. All he's asking is what any man is entitled to, a fair trial.
Who sent you up here?
The sheriff.
As a matter of fact, that's not true. The sheriff didn't even know we were coming.
I beg your pardon. I should have said deputy sheriff.
They've said they're innocent. We haven't proved they're guilty.
Have you a bill of sale for those cattle?
Well, no, I haven't. But Kincaid said it was all right. He was out in the range. He didn't have it with him. He said he'd mail it to me.
Mr. Moore, how long have you done business with Kincaid?
6 years.
Did you ever know him to sell any cattle without a bill of sale?
No, I can't say I ever did. I don't remember every head he sold, though, in 6 years.
But it's customary for him to give a bill of sale.
That's right.
Did you ever know him to sell any cattle after spring roundup? This year or any other year?
I can answer that. I heard him say myself he wouldn't sell a head to nobody this spring.
Well, Martin?
Well, I know it looks bad, giving a dead man for witness. But it's the truth. That's the truth. You don't believe me?
Would you in my place?
Well, I'd find out. I'd sure find out. I'd do a lot of finding out before I'd hang 3 men who might be innocent.
If it were only for rustling, maybe.
Oh, what are you doing, Tetley? Playing cat and mouse with him?
I would prefer a confession, Martin.
I don't see your game, Tetley. If you've got any doubts, I say we call this party off and take them into the judge like Davies wants.
This is only slightly any of your business, my friend. Remember that.
Hanging's any man's business that's around. Hanging murderers is one thing, but making these fellas stand here and sweat while you shoot your big mouth off is another.
If your stomach for justice is cooling, then I suggest that you leave now. You call the old man Dad. Is he your father?
No, he works for me.
I didn't do it. I never even had no gun.
Then who did?
He done it. I seen him.
He couldn't have, Pop. I was with Juan all the time.
Yes, he did, Mr. Martin. He thought I was asleep, but I was awake all the time.
The old man's feeble-minded. He invents things. He don't know what he's talking about.
What's the old man's name?
Alva Hardwick.
The other one?
Juan Martinez.
Oh, no, it ain't. It's Francisco Morris. Now, why don't you admit it? I'm talking to you.
No savvy.
Oh, yes, you do, hombre. This man is wanted in Tucson for murder.
What about it, Martin?
Why do you ask me all these questions? when you don't believe nothing I tell you.
There's truth in lies, too. If you get enough of them. Now, what do you know about the old man?
He was in the Army.
Confederate or Union?
I don't know. He ain't too clear about it himself.
Attention!
He's forgotten.
Not that.
He's gonna keep this up all night, Tetley?
I'll make a deal with you, Martin. Tell us which of you shot Kincaid and the other two can stand trial.
Mister, none of us killed anybody.
Then, that's all, I guess.
You don't mean you're gonna... Oh, no. You can't. You can't! You can't! You can't!
My kids! One of them's just a baby! And my wife, she ain't got nobody to look after! Please, you gotta give us time! Time, you gotta give us time! I don't want to die in the dark. I'm scared of the dark. Let me write a letter, please. If you're human, you'll let me do that. Let me write a letter. Please!
Not
please!
asking much, Tetley.
What time is it, Mr. Davies?
5 after 4.
All right. We don't want to give anyone cause for complaint. With your permission, gentlemen, we'll let Mr. Martin write his letter. It will give you time, Reverend, to settle your business also.
I can't write like this.
Very well. Untie them.
You, son.
I've been much obliged to you. You can see my wife gets it.
She'll get it.
Thank you.
Look! Fresh beef! Fix up a spread for everybody, Ma. Can't nobody say it's robbery, neither. Seeing by the time it's all at it, won't belong to nobody.
None for me. No, me neither.
No stomach for Ma's cooking?
You don't eat a man's food in front of him. And then hang him.
Oh, walk together, children, don't you get weary. Walk together, children, don't you get weary. Walk together, children, don't you get weary.
I'm not disputing that fact, Mr. Davies. It may be a fine letter, but it should be read by the one it's addressed to.
Is that my letter you're talking about? Is it? How dare you show off my letter to these others? I asked you to deliver that letter to my wife. That's all I asked you.
If they read this, they might understand.
I didn't want that letter passed around.
Why don't you shut up and stop whimpering?
Might as well tear it up. I wouldn't have my wife touch it now.
In that case, give him back his letter, Mr. Davies.
Your wife ought to hear from you, son. None of us could be as kind and understanding as that letter. She'll want to save it for your children.
Hey, the Max!
Right out, he may have a gun. Watch the others.
He hit?
Not much.
There's his gun.
Well, I guess we know now.
It's Kincaid's gun.
Where'd you get that? I want an answer.
I found it.
Oh, so he talks American.
Where?
Lying on the road.
You're a liar.
And you're a blind fool.
I asked you where you got it.
No, savvy.
No. Oh. Won't you at least read it? Then you'll know he's not the kind of man who could steal or kill.
Maybe. But that can't stand up against branded cattle, no bill of sale, dead man's gun.
Anyhow, what can a couple of guys like us do about it?
Sometimes it's enough if just one man will listen.
We've listened. What do you want us to do?
Gentlemen, I suggest we act as a unit so there can be no question of mistaken reprisals. Mr. Davies, are you willing to abide by a majority decision? How about the rest of you?
Sure.
Go ahead.
Let's get started. Everyone who is with Mr. Davies for putting this thing off and turning it over to the courts, stand over there. Majority, I'm afraid, Mr. Davies. Any other message you'd like to leave, Martin?
I would like to make a confession. To a priest.
No priest here.
Yeah, let's go.
About time.
Freeze.
Let's get it over with.
Yeah.
Finally, you, Smith, and my son Gerald will whip the horses out.
I can't, Tetley.
Any volunteers?
You can count on me. I ain't going to see justice cheated.
I won't do it.
Yes, you will.
I can't.
You'll do your part. You'll do it like a man. I'll give you 2 minutes to pray.
Dear Lord, I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. And be with my wife, dear Lord, and my kids. Be with my baby. Padre nuestro que estás en los cielos, santificado sea tu nombre, venga a nuestra vida. Hágase, Señor, tu voluntad, así en la tierra. Santificado sea tu nombre, venga a nuestra vida. Hágase, Señor, tu voluntad, así en la tierra.
Time's up.
Mr. Davies. Mr. Davies, would you go? Would you go see my wife and children? My parents are dead, but Miriam's live in Ohio. Mr. Kincaid didn't want to sell them cattle, so maybe his wife will buy them back. That ought to be enough to pay for their travel.
They'll be taken care of.
Thank you.
Forgive me.
Is that all? I suppose it ain't no good telling you again that we're innocent.
No good.
It ain't for myself I'm asking.
Men with families have been hung before. Too bad. But that's justice.
Justice? What do you care about justice, you butcher? I tell you, ain't nobody to take care of them. My wife, my kids. My babies. Don't you understand that, you butcher?
This is fine company for a man to die with.
Butcher! Butchers! But... Come on. Stop it! Stop it, you fools!
No, you stop it. It's time someone called you.
Stop it! Stop it!
All right, Mapes, on with it.
All right, get him up there now. Come on, get him up there.
Gerald.
No. No, you mustn't.
Finish him.
It's me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer. It's me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer. Not my mother, not my father, but it's...
Hey there! What was all that shooting about down there? What's been going on?
It's all right, Sheriff. Everything's been taken care of.
What are you talking about? Kincaid's murderers. We got all three of them.
And they hung him, too, Sheriff.
What do you mean, Kincaid's murderers? Larry Kincaid ain't dead.
Dead?
These fellas, we...
I just left Larry Kincaid with Doctor over at Pike's Hole. I got the men who shot him, too.
But Sheriff, these fellas had Larry's cattle. They even had his gun.
Give me that badge. Davies, I know you well enough to know you didn't have anything to do with this. I'm dependent on you to tell me who did.
All but 6.
You men are gonna pay for this. I feel sorry for the whole lot of you. Come on.
Mr. Davies, if you don't mind, I'd like to read that letter.
Gerald?
I'm leaving.
Leaving? Or deserting?
Yes, if you care to call it that. Deserting you and everything you stand for. You loved it today. That's why you kept prolonging it. I saw your face. It was the face of a murderer.
Shut up.
Was that how your face was the time you sent a whole regiment to needless death? The Confederacy stripped you of your rank. Now you stripped yourself naked in my eyes. In your heart, you knew those men were innocent. You were cold crazy to see them hanged and to make me watch it. You'll never make me watch anything or do anything again, Father.
I have always tried to teach you to live like a man.
How could you teach me to live? You're dead. As dead as those 3 men hanging from that tree.
Yes, me. It's Tetley. That's the one we ought to lynch.
You're a great one for hanging, ain't you, Smith? 2 glasses and a bottle. Give me a drink. They made up a pot for Martin's wife. Even Mapes chipped in.
I didn't know he was showing his face.
He's not. He sent it down by Sparks. I put in $25 apiece for us.
How much they got?
500.
Not bad for a husband who don't know any better than to buy cattle in the spring with no bill of sale.
Do you want to read his letter?
You know I can't read.
I'll read it for you. My dear wife, Mr. Davies will tell you what is happening here tonight. He's a good man and has done everything he can for me. I suppose there are some other good men here, too, only they don't seem to realize what they're doing. They're the ones I feel sorry for. Because it'll be all over for me in a little while, but they will have to go on remembering for the rest of their lives. A man just naturally can't take the law into his own hands and hang people without hurting everybody in the world. Because then he's not just breaking one law, but all laws. Law is a funny thing. I suppose it's what you could call the conscience of people. There can't be any such thing as a good life without it, because if people touch God anywhere, where is it except through their conscience? That's why I'm writing this to you, because I hope you will have a good life among people who have a conscience. I guess that's all I've got to say, except kiss the babies for me, and God bless you. Your husband, Donald. He wanted his wife to get the letter, didn't he? He said there was no one to look after his kids, didn't he?
The basic differences between a democracy and a republic are, in a democracy, majority rules. In a republic, a charter or a constitution grants individuals inalienable rights that cannot be taken away just by a majority ruling. One of those inalienable rights is the right to a fair trial. It's been reported that upon exiting the Constitutional Convention, Benjamin Franklin was approached and asked what sort of government the delegates had created. He responded by saying, "A republic, if you can keep it." Thank you for joining us for the Forsaken Westerns. My name's Bob Terry. We hope you'll join us again here next time. Have a great day.